gonna ask you if you wanted to come to the terrace with me.
Oh!
Meet me there in 5.
Oh!
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know this beat, it's a girl KylerB coming out with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about Love Island Season 10, Episode 14, because we don't count the unseen bits. This is really Episode 15. Anyway, let's talk about this episode. This episode was really just like Sammy, Jess type central a little bit, because at the end of yesterday's episode, we basically see Sammy get up from the conversation between him and Jess, because he's kind of upset how, Jess just keep on saying that, he wasn't being honest between him and Leah, and and Leah was upset about how, he called her a test, and So he apologized but he apologized very brash. Like, he just didn't care. He was just like, yeah, I flirted with you and what? And I still picked Jess. Everybody was kind of clocking him that they were saying, like, you picked Jess because Jess wasn't in the bottom 3 and Leah was in the bottom 3. So you decided to cling to Jess. So with that being said, and then people are, like, upset, and he's like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And I'm just like, I guess the way he went about it, he could have been about it a little bit better. But it was just like, just keep on saying, oh, you led both of us on, and da-da-da-da. And he's just like, well, it's still early days. I'm just getting to know you. I'm still getting to know Leah, da-da-da-da. But I still think he's playing a game. So whatever he said, he's playing a game. Anyway, Jess was a little fuming. So, she was just like, yeah, no. Leah still, I guess, she wanted a better apology. I mean, he apologized like multiple times, but I guess she just wanted him to understand that, she felt a bit used. Anyway, Catherine gets a text that the Hideaway is open, and obviously they picked Ty and Ella, because who else would they pick to go into the Hideaway? Who else would they pick? So they picked Ty and Ella, they got ready, went to the Hideaway. Ty in this do-rag combo. This man was wearing a do-rag and a tank top for their evening wear. And then when he went to the Hideaway, he had his do-rag on, he was in his underwear, and he had socks with slippers on. And then they had their little Hideaway. It was nice, whatever. Outside of that, we basically see all of them chat and whatnot. Everybody went to bed. When they went to bed, we see Catherine and Scott have a little cuddle, and I'm just like, oh, on the first night she's cuddling Scott? Because I was like, okay, because they're only coupled up literally one day. So I was like, oh, okay, because every time Catherine goes in bed, you never really see her cuddle up. The only time you saw her cuddle somebody was Andre, and that was just before he got dumped. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe something going with them. Next thing you know, while Ella and Ty is having their Hideaway, everybody's asleep. They wake back up. They wait for Ty and Ella to get back into the room. They talk about their moments, whatever. Then we see their morning debrief, which is, we actually see the producers like separate them. So you see Whitney, Ella, and Jess talking about, Ella's Hideaway. Whitney is talking about how, like, Medhi was upset with her about her laughing through recoupling speech. So Ella had to come in and say, like, well, yeah, it was kind of rude that you were laughing. And, because we don't see how much she was laughing. We don't know if she's, like, laughing a lot or laughing a little bit. But, Ella's saying, like, oh, it was kind of rude that she was laughing during his recoupling speech. So he had a problem with it. And he was just like, he doesn't like it, da-da-da-da. So we have Jess talking about the whole Sammy situation. And she said that she's going to go talk to Mitchell. Even though she closed Mitchell down, she basically said that, yeah, the boat has sailed. Like, you're a little bit too late to trying to get to know me now that nobody else wants to get to know you. With that being said, while Jess and Mitch have their conversation, Sammy's just like, why are you even talking over there for? Like, you already told me that Mitchell wasn't an option. Like, what are you doing? And it was just like, yeah, he didn't like that. Obviously, we know that since Leah and Mitchell are in a couple, Leah basically does not like Mitchell. She already said it's kind of basically friend vibes. So Leah is over here pulling Scott for chats, and that seems to be an open door for her. It's really giving desperation. She's trying to stake her claim, obviously, and still be in the villa. She tried with Tyrique, it didn't go well. She tried with Sammy, it didn't go well. So now that Scott's a new bombshell, she's open. She, she's trying, her best. That's her only option right now. She's trying to keep on going after him because she doesn't really see anything going with Mitchell. The next thing you know, we see Molly gets a text. They get a text to do this game. And the game was messy, okay? It was basically, the games this season are a bit messy, a bit revealing. You basically see what the Islanders think of the other Islanders. Like, I'll give basically a summary of what happened. They all knew that Whitney and Medhi did not have any type of chemistry like that. But then Ella had, out of nowhere, the only person who said it, Ella said that Scott and Catherine don't have chemistry. And I'm like, you see everybody saying Medhi and Whitney don't got chemistry. You see everybody saying Medhi and Whitney don't got no chemistry. And why are you going to bring up Catherine or Scott? So it was a bit of a side-eye situation over here, but we're going to move because, it might not be that deep. But everybody know Medhi and Whitney don't got no chemistry. They've been a couple since maybe 2 weeks now. I'm just saying, about 2 weeks they've been in a couple and nothing really has happened. It's just really banter, that's it. And it's like, and they're already having issues within the whole entire situation. So we also hear that Mitchell is like playing a game. We also see Molly and Zach are playing a game. It's the fact that after this game, people are like, you're in a couple with Zach, you be having chats all the time, but you don't talk about real life situations. You don't talk about anything else. And like even Molly admitted like, oh, they don't really talk about that stuff. But I'm just like, so what is it there to the relationship? Like you have nothing much to your relationship at all. I'm just like what's going on? So we know that Zach and Molly don't really know each other like that, even though they're in a relationship. We also know that Sammy basically said that he's still open to getting to know people because he's only been in a couple with Jess for a week. And he was trying to basically indirectly say that Tyrique is still getting to know people. And Tyrique was like, say names. And, he was like, no, well, everyone's supposed to be getting to know. But, like, Tyrique was like, say names. Like, let us know who you're referring to. But, it's true. I mean, Tyrique closed off. He said no, he's not getting to know people. And Ella said no, she's not getting ready to know people. I mean, especially after coming after a Hideaway, you wouldn't say that right away. It's kind of like, especially in a game, I mean, even if they still are going to get to know people, after a Hideaway, it's kind of like, no. Anyway, with that being said, they're talking about the game, they're asking Whitney, like, how do you feel about that? And, she's like, oh, Medhi's not really her usual type, but she likes him. And then Medhi's like, it's fine, it's just a game. That's the truth, that they don't have any chemistry and whatnot. So they get ready for nighttime, and we see Catherine and Scott have a chat. I'm just kind of getting into the meats and potatoes right now of what's going on. Which is, they're talking, they're having a chat, and, Scott's being upfront that, now that they're in a couple now, he can't be talking to everybody all the time. He's gonna, narrow it down to who he really likes to get to know, and he's in a couple with Catherine, and he's all still speaking to Leah, so he kind of narrowed it down to. So Catherine just she's not gonna ask him which way you're leaning towards or whatever, but he kind of basically says that he knows a little bit more about Leah than he knows about Catherine. So, and then in the middle of that conversation, we see Leah basically was like, oh, Scott, can I pull you for a chat? And then she was like, oh, I was eyeing to see when that conversation was over so I can pull you for a chat. So Leah's really grafting Scott. She's really grafting. And the thing is that, as much as we want Catherine to, I guess, put on her grafting moves with him, I mean, you gotta understand what she just been through. She just lost. She was in a couple of Andre. This all stems back to Zachariah. Like, it stems back to Zachariah because Zachariah picked Catherine out of the group to recouple with. Basically had Andre single. Andre had to wait to get Catherine back. As soon as Andre and Catherine got back together, they had to dump Andre. And then now the guy, she's in a couple with is saying that, oh, he's still trying to get to know both of them. At the end of the day, really, it's just, she just got over, she was just sad that Andre left. Then the next day, she had to recouple with Scott. After she recouples with Scott, maybe they had 1 or 2 days later, she's still getting to know Scott. She doesn't know too much about him. She's not, desperado over here grabbing him from chats. But I mean, I would say she would have to put her foot on the gas a bit. But to be honest, they just need to send more bombshells in. They really do. Because when Castlemore hits, I really need Catherine to really try to get to know these bombshells, okay? Or whoever, if she stays that long. Get to know these people, okay? Anyways, we see, after that conversation, we see Leah and Scott having a conversation. And it's just like, yeah, send bombshells for Catherine. We also see Medhi, chatting to Whitney. They basically said that they like each other because, they both like each other, and they want, he wanted to hear that from her and whatnot. And, they basically established that they both like each other. I don't think that was established. So that lets you know that relationship, that couple wasn't moving like that. Anyway, after that, Whitney talked to the girls, and then she talked to Catherine. She was like, yeah, she likes Medhi, and they were just chatting and whatnot. Next thing you know, we see Medhi pulls Whitney and basically says, hey, meet me on the terrace in 5 minutes. And I'm like, that's not giving at all. It's not. But I'm just like, the producers were producing because, you heard from the game that everybody knows that there's no chemistry between Whitney and Medhi, but now you're going to be like, oh, come on to the terrace. Everybody knows the terrace is code for, lip sync kissing. Everybody knows that. So when people are like, oh, you're going to the terrace, everybody's trying to say, oh, okay, because they've been probably the longest, outside of Tyrique and Ella, they're probably the second longest couple that been in a couple together in that villa right now. So the fact that they not shared one kiss outside of a challenge, no, it's not giving. So after that, he pulls her foot on the terrace, and then they start kissing, and it was just like, oh snap, oh snap, oh snap.
It's French.
Better than English, no?
Oh, okay, but I'm just like, it just giving cringe. It's nothing romantic about that. It feels like the producers should definitely produce that whole scene. Then we see the previews, and the previews basically showed the whole Jess and Sammy situation again. They're still arguing about the situation, and I'm just like, let's wrap it up. Why are we still arguing about the situation? Obviously, the situation blows up to where Jess is kind of yelling across the villa, and that is going downhill. Then we see Maya coming into the villa, and
I guess who's back?
That's the biggest kind of what's going on here, because we didn't have a vote, and we don't know what's going on. I feel like there's going to be new bombshells that she brings in, because otherwise, why is Maya coming in? There's no need this week 3 for Maya to come in, because there's an even number of guys and girls. That's the reason why they were able to have a daytime Daytime recoupling. Recouplings always happen at night. So the fact that Maya's coming during the day, this is really absurd, is kind of weird too. Like, they're really switching up this season, because when has Maya come during the daytime? Is nighttime. You only see Maya during the day is when you first get, introduced to the season. You don't see Maya during the daytime. It's always nighttime or recoupling time, or knowing that someone's going to get dumped. It's an even number of guys and girls. So even if there's another recoupling, as people are saying, which is kind of weird because there was just one on Sunday, so why would they need to be another recoupling? It doesn't make no sense. Like, unless they're going to be like, oh, which guy and girl needs to leave the villa, that's still dumb, because you just dumped Andre and Charlotte based off the votes. So unless you're trying to dump 2 more guys and girls, it's kind of, no, it doesn't make sense. So I feel like she's going to probably bring in 2 new bombshells. Let's just see what tomorrow's episode holds. We don't really know what's going to go on, who's going to be brought in, who's going to be leaving. We don't really know, but we'll see. But anyway, guys, if you like the video, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, comments, concerns, and you're not subscribed to our channel, subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Peace.